It is still Affirmed as they come to the quarter pole. He's holding on to a head lead.
They come on down to the 8th pole. It's Alydar on the outside. Affirmed go along the rails.
It's Alydar and Affirmed battling back along the inside. We'll test these two to the wire.
Throughout their 2-year-old seasons of 1977, Affirmed and Alydar were dominant in their division. As the calendar turned to 1978, the two great horses would meet for the first time in the Kentucky Derby. One thing that hadn't changed, Affirmed and Alydar were still at the top of their class.
There was other good horses, but I mean, Believe It was a really nice horse. Derby Creek Road was a pretty nice horse, and there was obviously the new horse that had shown up with Sensitive Prince.
For Sensitive Prince,
who like was unbeaten going into the Derby, very fast. Kind of like Big Brown is to the, you don't know how good he could be, and he obviously was a good horse. But so but we're deep down we knew that mainly if I didn't beat Alydar, I wasn't going to win, and he knew if he didn't beat me, he wasn't going to win. It was great. It was exciting. I was probably trying to keep my emotions in check more than anything. I was trying to treat it just like another race. I knew what I had to do. I knew. I had a game plan.
After you ride the Derby so many times, all depends what kind of chance you got. Do you feel that you got in the race to get more excited? So, of course, every Derby you ride is very special. The Derby is the race, the one that makes you shake, the one that you can't sleep well the night before.
Coming into the Kentucky Derby, Steve Cauthen didn't receive much in the way of strategy from his trainer, BARRERA, nor did Jorge Velasquez, as John Veach told him to pretty much do his own thing on Alydar.
The great thing, Laz never tied me down to any orders, but we always talked about the races, and we were pretty confident that Raymond Earl and that Sensitive Prince were going to be, So, we didn't, if the pace was hot, the great thing about Affirmed was, you could sit right off it or, whatever.
Well, John, actually, he never told me exactly what to do. He just wished me luck and stay out of trouble. That's what he used to tell me. And, of course, Affirmed was not in those races, so I didn't have to worry about him. Well, I had to take my time with him and whatever he wants to be, and that was it. So he was better horse than those other horses.
Affirmed always, he broke great, he pinged out of the gate, but yet, he was there kind of in a relaxed enough position. And when I saw Sensitive Prince was going to try to go up to the lead, I said, okay, great. So I just, was able just to ease him off his heels. Just as we went in the turn, it left me, three lengths off of the leaders, 4 lengths, and I was like in the perfect position I wanted to be in. And from that point on, all I was wanting to do was keep myself clear of trouble and
wait for me.
glide along and wait. Yeah.
I don't know, for some reason he wasn't handling the track at the beginning. I don't know, it was not. I should have reached back and hit him real hard at the beginning to make him go. But I didn't want to do that. You can't do that going 1.25 miles. So I was just trying to keep him happy, like tap him in the shoulder and sharp to him and to see if I can get in the beat, and so I can just, instead of me pushing, he takes me. Yeah. But it never happened, so I don't know why. One of those mystery races.
Still in perfect position, Steve Cauthen and Affirmed were poised to take over the lead. What they didn't expect was the move made by Eddie Maple and Believe It, going for an early run to challenge Affirmed.
All of a sudden, those two front horses, they're starting to, you can tell they're starting to collapse a little bit. So I want to be outside of them so that I'm whatever. But I'm like, I don't really want to go yet, and I'm just going to sit here until either they die and I have to go, or something comes and and like I said, Eddie, I guess at that time he just decided, I don't know, I'm going to push Affirmed, whatever, I'm going to go, and so you see it in a second, but it wasn't like I didn't even really have to move on Affirmed. He saw the horse coming, because I had him in position where he could, and it was like, okay, but it wasn't like we were expending a lot more energy. It was just like the horse was like taking me to the lead.
It was coming on, but not exactly the way I wanted to.
When like he picked
And
up the bit.
not right, he never picked up the bit, and besides that, I'm losing ground all over every step of the way, you know. And
The only thing that was a little bit of surprise was like when Eddie rushed up on Believe It, which okay, so it just basically Affirmed just went, took me to the lead. And, you know, like you said, that day he was pricking his ears. I mean, I knew I had a ton of horse. It just made me go to the front a little sooner than I wanted. And I knew, like I said, knowing the horse, I'm thinking, I really don't, you know, as long as he was pushing me, that was okay. But pretty soon, he drops away. And that's when I'm thinking, oh, now I got to keep Affirmed focused, because I know I'm still thinking Alydar's going to come. I know he's coming. But when he's come from off the pace and hits the front, he thinks, I've done it. So I know I got to, you know, keep him focused, especially knowing, you know, as I said, that I'm thinking it's a long stretch, and, you know, I'm sure Alydar's somewhere back there. He's got to be coming. You know?
I was all out. I was whipping and driving there. I was. And he was coming on, but meanwhile, I'm still way back and losing ground and everything else. And you see, I'm whipping and driving. And he is coming on, but hey, I thought I had a chance, but they wasn't coming back. So now I say, well, I'm going to be third. Then I switched sticks, and he started, all of a sudden he just took off on me. And I said, look at this. See, but still in the wrong lead.
Alydar was a truly great horse. The other thing that, you know, Alydar never really, he wasn't great about switching his leads. He always wanted to hang on that lead, which is a huge, you know, disadvantage. As a 2-year-old, I had Alydar breathing down my neck, pushing me all the way in those races. I wanted to keep him going, and I was looking, you know, because if he's coming, then I want to really make sure that my horse sees him. Like you said, I never forgot the Champagne, you know, when he came wide and kind of, you know, got by. So I'm always thinking, you know, I want to make sure that I'm ready. You kind of have a sense of, you know, what's happening. And I just, like you said, I could feel like, you know, my horse was running. It wasn't like he was, you know, digging his toe. I mean, he was doing his thing, and I felt like as long as you can see him, he'll pick up again too, you know. So I was, you know, although I was trying to keep busy and keep whatever, I wasn't, you know, I was like, I felt like we were, you know, going to win as long as, you know, something that I couldn't foresee was going to happen. And all I was really wanting to do was save enough to, you know, for what I was expecting was Alydar's challenge, which, you know, that day really didn't come until too late. Although, you know, when you look at the replay and you realize he was pushing, you know, that far out, that, you know, the fact that he still did, you know, make that kind of final lunge was, you know, kind of impressive.
316 pole, I think I'm going to be third. That's about it. 8 pole, still like going to be third, and all of a sudden he just took off running. Like he just broke from the gate, you know. That's what makes you think, maybe next time
He was
I get
fooling
you.
with me.
I get you next time.
Right, yeah.
That next time would come 2 weeks later in the Preakness Stakes at Pimlico, and Alydar was being prepared to make his challenge to Affirmed far sooner this time. Would Affirmed be up to the challenge?